What's up, guys? Welcome to the Andy and Kyle Show.
Where we like laughing at our painful memories and yours too.
Eric, you have to cut to me.
Me and my fiance, we hadn't actually started dating yet. We were still friends, and but I really liked her. I was into her. I had a big crush on her. So basically, we had this thing to where we would watch The Walking Dead, right? That's whenever I think it was like up to season 3 was out. So it was still pretty early. I think there are like 10 seasons or something now.
Yeah.
And before she had come over, though, like I enjoy my time in the bathroom. Like I take long poops, but this time, like she was about to get there, and I was like, okay, I gotta go fast, and fast for me is like 15 minutes. Like, okay, so like I went in there, I did my thing, and then it was like 5 minutes until she was gonna get to my house to watch the Walking Dead episode, and flushed the toilet, and I noticed that the water in the bowl wasn't going down, and it just kept going up and up and up. And once it got like about like an inch away from overflowing, I started panicking. And I'm like, what do I do? Like it's supposed to stop. And so like immediately, instead of like, like what a normal person would do would be to like grab the plunger or like whatever. I just like panicked and I took my hand and I just shoved it in the water. And I was gonna try to grab my poop out of the hole in the toilet.
Wait, hold on. Did you have a glove on? Did you have anything?
No,
or did you just jog and just go?
I had a long sleeve shirt and I pulled my sleeve up and I just went and like, like you're trying to like unstop a horse, like you just like shove it in there.
This is minutes away from.
Yeah, this is
your
like
now fiance.
5 minutes away from her being there, right? Like I shove my hand in the toilet and I'm like feeling all the stuff, and I'm like trying to pull it out or whatever. I just left it in the toilet, but I mean, by that time the water started overflowing in the toilet.
What was your plan?
I didn't have a plan. That's the thing. Like I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing.
So now you're arms deep into the toilet.
Yeah.
You have no plan. Are you holding onto the poop?
No, I think I let go of it at that point.
Okay, so you had the poop. You let go. What's next?
Well, the water started overflowing in the toilet bowl, and then it started going on the ground. Okay. And I'm like, okay, like poopy water is like lining the ground now, and oh, you know what? It wasn't because I didn't think about the plunger. There wasn't a plunger in the bathroom.
Either way, you don't stick your hand in there.
Yeah, I know. You don't stick it like, and so I'm just like, crap. Like, that's why I panicked. But yeah, like I was like, okay, I need to go get a plunger now. And then, but the plunger was at the other end of the house.
He doesn't live in a big house at the time. It's a good sized house, but it's not a mansion like you think.
Yeah.
When he says the other house,
but yeah, well, the end of the house, it's like, it's still like a good 7 strides of me going to.
You're acting like you're taking like a 30-minute hike to
get
to the other toilet.
That's what it felt like. Okay.
Poopy hands, poopy floors. That's you.
Okay.
7 seconds to get to the other restroom.
But well, like I went over there and I grabbed the plunger and then I like ran back into the bathroom, and then I just started plunging. I finally got the water to go down. But I didn't realize like that the entire time my sister was actually in the living room sitting on the couch, and she was like watching me like panic run like all in the house and like back and like with the plunger, and she knew that my the girl was coming over. And what was it? I got the water to go down, and I like mopped up all the water with like some towels, and I got it all clean or whatever, at least like wiped up. I still didn't like sterilize it, but I got it all up all the floor to where you couldn't tell, like unless I don't know if it stunk or not because my head was like not there. But as soon as I finished, my fiance was like walking through the door, and I'm like, thank God.
I have so many things to say about the situation. I also have questions that I need you to answer.
Yeah, by all means. Like,
all right, so this all happened in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was like a 5-minute, but it felt like I remember every little detail, like besides like the plunger thing or whatever. Like it's just burned in my memory, and it's never gonna go.
Your sister was on the couch. Why didn't you? Hey, I need the plunger.
I didn't see her until
you didn't know it was with her.
Whenever I had actually finished everything, and I like walked out of the bathroom, she was dying laughing on the couch, like and like crying and stuff. Because like she knew, she's like, what were you doing? And I had to tell her the story really quick or whatever. And
my question is that I'm stuck on, why'd you reach for it?
I don't know. Like, why did this guy throw a steak out the window?
That seems because he was trying to get rid of it.
I was trying to get rid of it. Like, I don't know what I was doing. And
Oh
then,
man.
but like, I didn't tell my fiance until like years later. Though.
Oh,
Like, she didn't know anything about it, and I was just like, I was looking at my sister. I'm like, don't say a word. Like,
did you tell anybody?
yeah, I had to tell my family, because, I mean, my sister saw me running back and forth through the house, and so she knew. And of course, she's gonna tell everybody.
I have one. It's not poop related. It's just funny. Um, it's a prank story, and it's not embarrassing for me. It's actually embarrassing for Eric, who's controlling all the cameras right now. I've never told. He's like doing this right now. He's like, God damn it. He's like, fuck, don't tell this story, man. Me, for some reason, in my family, we like to prank each other. We just do it. We prank each other. He's taking off the headphones because he's like, I don't want to hear this more than I have to. He just took off the headphones. He's like, I don't need to hear this. I lived it. Let me preface this. I'm 28 now. I had to think about it. He's 23. Are you 23? He's 22 right now.
Yeah, you don't know your brother's age.
He was 5. I didn't know my own age, first of all.
Okay, good. Good, yeah, touche.
But he was 5 years old, about around there. And I was about, like, I think 9 or 10. I could have been 8. But in my family, we like to prank each other through the generations too. My uncle and my aunt used to prank me. My mom and her sister used to prank her little brother, who's my uncle, who pranked my brother. So over the years, people were just pranking, and like they're not little like got you. They're not those kinds of pranks. They're like full on like they're really bad pranks. And so this was a story about me and Georgie's pranking Eric. We need to preface this. Georgie's. Mm-hmm. It's indeed Georgie's. Mm-hmm. You got to preface this with, do you know what Final Destination is? The movies?
Yes.
Final Destination movies. We had just finished staying up. No. Me, Eric, and Georgie's stayed up. We pulled an all-nighter. Mm-hmm. All-nighter. Watching every single movie at the time. And at the time, there was 4 of them. Mm-hmm. 4 Destination movies. There's like 7 now. But anyways, we had just finished it. It's like 8 a.m. The house is empty. My family is all out. They're all doing things. We're in El Paso, by the way, too.
Okay.
So we just finished watching these movies, all-nighters. We're finished with the 4th one. And we're all just laying there in the living room because we watched it in the living room.
Waiting for like a ceiling fan to collapse on you.
Well, hold on. It does include a feeling. So okay. We decided me and Georgie's have this like communication that we know when we're going to prank Eric again.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the first time we prank Eric. We have a lot of pranks on him. Some of them go bad. They don't go well for us. Okay. But this one did. It went very well. So we just finished these movies. We're all up. We're in the living room. It's sunny outside. We've been up all night. And me and him give each other a look. And we're like, we're going to prank him. We're going to prank him.
Yeah.
All right. So Eric's sitting on the couch, right? Mm-hmm. There's these little miniatures above him hanging on the wall, like floating shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
So there's a floating shelves behind him. He's on the couch, floating shelves behind him. And when he's not looking, Georgie's will knock one of them beside him, barely missing him, and it falls. And we're all like, whoa, what happened? And he's like, what happened, guys? He's so scared. And I was like, oh,
perfect 4-year-old
He's
voice.
like, oh, that's so weird, dude. That's weird. It almost hit you. We're like gaslighting him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh man, be careful, dude. It feels like maybe the curse passed on to you. He knocks another one down. Oh, no. Barely misses him, right?
Yeah.
So then Georgie starts distracting Eric. Well, I go into the kitchen and I cut up a newspaper and I find his name that says Eric. And I cut it up.
You gotta like paste it.
I cut it up and put it back in the paper. And when I'm walking back, I put the paper by this fan.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I put it by the fan. Mm-hmm. There's a button for the fan that I have the remote for, mm-hmm. and I put the newspaper right in front of the fan. Eric's sitting there by the fan, by the newspaper. I push the button, the fan turns on by itself, and we're like, whoa! And like this part, I couldn't have planned perfectly. His name in a little piece of paper comes off the newspaper, starts flying across the living room, lands perfectly in between his feet. And it's facing up, and it says Eric.
Oh my gosh.
I swear to you, that's how it happened. And we all look, me and Georgie know what the newspaper thing says, but we go, what's it say, Eric? He looks down. It says my name.
That's my name.
That's my name. And we're like, oh dang, it's gonna get you, dude. And so me and George just get up, run down the hallway to there's 2 rooms at the end of the hall, one on the left, one on the right.
Yeah.
Down the hall we're running. We each run down the hall and we both go into separate rooms. He goes into the right room, I go into the left room. We shut the doors, we lock it. Eric's running after us. Guys, don't leave me. I don't want to die. And he starts banging on my door saying, Andy, let me in. I don't want to die. And I'm yelling, I don't want to die. If you're next to me, it might come for me too. So then when he's banging on my door, George's opens his door. And Eric turns around, sees George's door open, runs to his door. George's closes the door. He starts banging on his door, yelling, George's, let me in. I don't want to die. When he's banging on George's door, I open my door. He sees it. We repeat the process like 2 or 3 times where he's running back and forth while we're slamming the door in his face. Right?
Yeah.
We're just hearing him bawling, crying, banging on the door, yelling like, I don't want to die, guys. I don't want to die, guys. I'm at my door like just against the wall laughing so hard, taking turns opening the door with me and Georgie's.
Yeah.
And then it goes silent.
Like both of you just like stop. Oh wait,
no,
silent.
His crying just stops.
Oh no. Okay.
And we're like, me and Georgie's both open the doors, right?
Yeah.
We're wondering what's going on. We can't hear him. He's not in the house. Outside, very, very, like, you can barely hear someone yelling, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, running on the sidewalk. He's just, so me and George just run outside. We just bolt outside. He's like, and like, he's not wearing any shoes. Just picture this. He's not wearing any shoes, no socks.
Yeah.
In like pajamas. 4 or 5-year-old running down the sidewalk, and he's not by the house, he's down the street.
You get that Doppler effect. He's like, ah.
Yeah, no, he's like down the street. He's not like by the house anymore. He's like yelling, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. We're like, oh shit, we better get him before the neighbors call the cops. We run down the street, and we catch up to him. Right? We catch up to him.
Yeah.
And we yell, Eric! We should have stopped it there. We didn't.
You kept going.
We get close enough to where you can hear us. Eric, you're in more danger outside than you are inside. The cars could hit you. Things could kill you out here. He stops in his tracks, realizes that, starts running back.
Then you hear the...
He starts running back to the house. And he runs in, and we shut the door on him before he can get into the house. He starts crying, like banging on the door outside.
Oh my gosh.
And like, we're just outside laughing. We're just inside the house laughing so hard. And then my mom and my grandma show up.
Oh my god.
And we got in so much trouble. And they're yelling in Spanish, ¿Qué están haciendo? Like they're yelling at us over so much. We got in so much trouble, but it was so worth it. It was the funniest thing ever. Like, it's one of the funniest pranks we pulled on him. There's another one that's just as funny, but Eric got Eric got us instead of him.
Oh, good. At least there's some revenge on it.
Yeah. So, dude, we did not let up on Eric. We pranked him so many times.
I'm surprised he's sane. Like, that would have broke my mind. Like, I would have.
That's after a full all-nighter. That's after no one's home. That's after watching 4 Final Destination movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're like watching, God. Dude,
oh man, we traumatized that kid. I was, I think, 9 or 10, and my uncle was like 10 or 11. He's only a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
So like,
that was pretty spot on for you guys being so young.
We were adapting it as we went along. Like we were
just like rolling with it.
We were just rolling with, like, he was knocking, and the thing is, like, it was his plan to knock over the statues, and it was my idea to like do the newspaper.
Yeah.
So like we were each contributing to the Final Destination, and then like it was perfect that we just ran to the hallway and we were just like taking turns opening and closing it on his face.
Yeah.
While I kept running back and forth. But that was one of my funniest like moments with Eric and Georgie's.
That's hilarious.
What do you think of the situation? What would you do if you're a neighbor and you just see a 4-year-old running down the street yelling, his verbatim words were, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Someone help me.
Oh my gosh. I probably just would have I don't know if I would have watched and laughed or if I would have actually ran out there and and been like, hey, like, what's going on? Are you okay? Like,
Us being dope, we didn't think about it at the time.
yeah, I mean, kids, but still, that's an impressive prank to pull for being that young.
It was hilarious, and it's one
Yeah,
of my favorite things.
man, like all of my pranks, they weren't ever like that. They just
That's the
consisted
most
of,
elaborate one that we've ever done.
yeah. I mean, my stuff just consisted of me like pranking my cats or like something like that.
Don't you have some of you and your friends though pranking each other like with
Yeah,
cars?
that was more of just us being really stupid.
That's pretty embarrassing though.
But that was actually clever.
That was
So,
fun. One story that so for some reason we were like 4 and 5 year olds and I was like 7 or 8 maybe at the time.
yeah.
And like showering there is scary because what they'll do is like you're like my aunt or my uncle or like my cousins will rush into the shower while you're showering and take your clothes and your towel and then you'll just be stuck there, you know?
Yeah.
And or things like they'll run in there with like water guns with like ice cold water and they'll like spray you, you know?
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like that. So they do stuff like that. And so one time where me and Eric were doing not me and Eric was in the shower and me and Georges were gonna prank Eric with like different things. We ran in there a couple times. The first time I think we got ice and like threw a bucket of ice into the shower. This is all while he's showering in one moment. So this happened in the span of like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we ran in there and we like threw a bucket of water in the shower and just like dumped it on him and ran out. Then we came back and I think I forgot what the second one was, but we were gonna do something with like, we were gonna flush the toilet a couple times to make it hot, like ice cold water, then hot water.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so the third time we were gonna do something very similar to that, right?
Yeah.
We were gonna prank him again, but this time I think what we were gonna do is we were gonna get the towel and just like whoosh with him while he was in the shower, right?
Yeah.
And so we were gonna have to like open the shower and then just go whoosh, whoosh to him, and we go in there. Georges opens the shower and goes to try to scare Eric. He opens it. No one's in there.
Oh,
No, the shower's just running. It's empty.
Yeah. Okay.
All of a sudden, I hear a little 4-year-old, and I'm also 9, so I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
Him yelling, running out of behind the door. Eric started hiding behind the door while he was in the shower.
Yeah.
He's hiding behind the door.
You get used to it.
Well, this is like 3 to 5 minutes. So like we
Okay,
we
gotcha.
like throw a bucket of ice on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Run outside. Then like a minute later, we come back in, hot water, and then
okay,
we go
yeah.
back outside. So he thought he like hid behind the door of the shower, like
Yeah, yeah.
the closet. There was like a linen closet,
Mhm.
and he was hiding behind that.
Okay.
So whenever Georges comes in and like opens the curtain and it's empty, out of nowhere, Eric runs out and pushes Georges into the running shower.
Yeah.
But he had turned the water on full blast to heat.
Oh no.
So when he pushed him in, Georges fell in the tub and he's like, it's hot! It's hot! He's like yelling that it's the water so hot because he's fully clothed. Georges is fully clothed and he got
Yeah.
pushed in. You know what the funnier part is though? Eric didn't fully succeed in the story. He pushes him in.
Did he fall into me? He fell into.
When he pushed him in, he fell inside the tub. So they were both in the shower with boiling hot water, and I'm just sitting there watching it. And that was so funny to me. Just like Eric got smart on us and like turned the tables, but he fell into it.
Hey, you know what? Like me sacrificing myself to like get revenge would it'd be worth it.
Kyle, go on and tell us your first story that you have on Reddit.
Boy, do I have a great one for you. No. We'll see. You guys let me know what you think. But so the title is, today I effed up by throwing my steak out a window. Last night, my wife's boss from a brand new job invited us over for dinner. On the drive over, my wife reiterated many times to me just how important it was to make a good impression. I scoffed, arrogantly informed my silly wife that I always make good impressions. My wife's boss is a single lady in her 50s. It would just be the three of us. We chit-chatted over drinks and salads, and it seemed to be really hitting it off. She laughed at my well-timed, perfectly appropriate jokes, and my wife seemed pleased. Soon, she brought out the main course, the boss, a nice, big, juicy steak for each of us. As I began to cut into my steak, I was discouraged to discover how undercooked the steak was. Now, I've had my fair share of rare steak. I prefer medium, but I can handle rare. This was several minutes on a hot grill short of rare. So I probably could have resuscitated the cow had I tried. Instead, I sat there fidgeting with my knife and my fork, worrying, how am I going to get away with, like, how am I going to get through this without actually eating the steak? He's like, do I claim veganism? He's like, no, he already, feigned great enthusiasm upon seeing the steak. Just then, the boss excused herself to the kitchen to take care of some dessert preparations. As I looked across the fancy dining room table at an open window of this third-story apartment, a cartoon light bulb appeared over my head. I knew I had to be decisive, realizing that she could return any moment, so I committed. I grabbed the steak with my hand and gently shook off the juice and executed a perfect throw right through the center of the open window. Now, here's the big, F up. The window wasn't open. it was the cleanest effing window you've ever seen in your life. That is until my mostly raw slab of steak slammed up against it and slowly slid down, leaving a trail of bloody juice in its wake. My wife, whose steak was a nice medium rare, was unaware of my predicament, turned jaw dropped, and stared at me like I was an alien from another planet. This look slowly morphed into more of a "there's no place on this planet you can ever hide from me" expression of demonic anger. My wife's boss heard the thud thud of the steak on the window impact and came quickly. She took in the scene, the steak sitting on the windowsill, the blood trail, the empty plate, and then gave me an inquisitive, puzzled look. I just didn't know what to say. It felt like a minute of silence, but was probably like 3 to 4 seconds. Finally, the best I could manage was, "I'm so sorry. I'm such a klutz. I don't know. I was just cutting it and it slipped." I just asked my wife. I really am klutz. Like, right, honey? No help coming from her. And then he was just like, "Okay, well, I'll clean this up. I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I'm a klutz." And then both women continued to stare at me like I'd escaped from the loony bin, as I smeared the blood around the window with my cloth napkin, dusted off the steak, and continued to mutter my incoherent explanation. I knew no one was buying the story. I knew what I had to do. I sheepishly returned to my seat and proceeded to eat every bite of that disgusting cold, chewy, bloody raw steak. I remained pretty quiet the rest of the evening. My wife's only 2 words to me since the incident are, "I'm fine." But he did include an update, and it said, "Just got the..."
Well, hold on. Before you read the update,
yeah,
let's talk about it, and then we'll get back onto the update.
Okay. I love this so much.
So, I've never heard a story that just reminds me more of you than this story.
Right? That's exactly what I was telling my fiance. Like, it just resonates so well with me because I would do this.
I really thought when you were reading this story, I was imagining you just throwing it
and just like smacking it against the window.
And like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Family Guy Peter Griffin when he's trying to pick up the frog, Yeah. And he's like, doop, doop. And like, just imagine you doing that with the steak. And I also know that I feel like this is a real story because I feel like you wouldn't want to hurt someone's feelings and you would rather like chuck it out.
Yeah, well, you could easily just say like, "Hey, like this is like, not cooked well enough," and then just be like, "Do you think I could go and like, heat this up a little bit more or something?" Like, that's the right thing to do.
Would you do that though?
No. Like I would do like this guy did. I'm like, "Oh, I have this great idea. Let me throw it out the window."
Well, okay, so hear me out. So what do you think is a better lie than being a klutz? What would you say in your defense?
Like a better lie than being a klutz?
Yeah, like how would you explain the situation if this happened to you?
I would have been like, I stood up, maybe like pretty much anything would be better than that, to be honest.
Right now on the spot, like the guy was.
Yeah, like I would have just like stood up and like acted like I like had my plate like in my hands, and that I was gonna like walk over and maybe like I wanted some salt or like something to put on it, and then I like tripped, and then like I threw I would have just like, if I would have like thrown the steak first, if that was like my go-to thing and I was gonna throw the steak out the window, I would have like thrown the plate too. So that way they know like I'm like, I have an excuse now.
If you throw it, you have to throw everything.
But I guess it's just like, how do you explain only the steak like slamming up against the window? Like there's nothing else. It was just the steak.
Man, I think I would have like told them immediately, saying like, "Hey, I don't really like it this raw. Could I or rare?
Yeah.
Could I do it?" No, it actually is raw because they didn't even cook it.
Yeah, I know. But what was funny though, like I guess like the thing that got me is he said that his wife's steak was actually cooked perfectly. Like it was the
Would you
wife's steak was
take it as
fine.
insulting if you were the one who grilled it and they told you it was? What would you find more insulting? Him telling you that it's too rare, or him throwing it at your window? What if he would have broken it?
What if he would have
Broken the window?
Oh yeah, it just breaks through the window whenever it goes. Well, then it would have been like overcooked. It would have like a rock, you know. So I don't know. Like I wouldn't find it like. I would find it more offensive that they just like sat there and like put up with it versus then just like telling me, and I could have like made it a pleasant experience for them.
What's the update?
Oh yeah, he got a text from his wife saying good news, and then boss's name. Or the boss and I just had a good laugh over how much of an effing idiot you are. I hope you know you will never live this down. She was like, "I love you, moron."
Okay, so it was a happy ending. It was okay. Like that's a good wife.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like my fiance would say the same thing.
All right, so I'm gonna get on to my story. But any final thoughts before we move on?
No, go for it.
All right, so the title of this one is My Boob is Forever on My University's Website. I am a student online for grad school. I am still new to the way the university does their online classes. Some teachers hold live classes, others just post their lectures and let it be. So, this class, the professor holds live classes once a week. That's not too bad or anything, but it would be great to know more than an hour before the class. So, basically, theirs is like both live and he posts like videos on the website on the lecture thingy.
Yeah.
The thing is he doesn't plan ahead. He like plans it last minute and you have to jump on whenever you can, you know?
Okay.
So I find out that I have class in an hour and I'm currently on my bed chilling, not wearing any clothes.
Okay.
So
I can kind of see where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to music. My phone dings. I'm subscribed to alerts and postings from my professor so I can see when he's going to do classes. I have an hour before the class starts. I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea we even had live classes. So I hop on thinking, what dork is going to be on the class an hour early? So she logged in an hour early.
Oh, okay.
To test my audio and stuff as I searched through my clean pile of clothes at the base of my bed. I haven't gotten around of putting up yet. So she hasn't put up her laundry either. Her whole life's a mess. So I put my phone in my lap face up and I reach over the phone with the face up on the Zoom call still.
Oh, no.
Face up, she reaches over with my titties just hanging out, swaying back and forth movement over my phone. I'm living my best life until I hear the most horrifying sound I've ever heard in my life. It was the voice of an older man saying, "Ma'am, your camera is on." I panicked, shut my entire phone off, sat there with just pure dread. I'm like, oh my God, that didn't happen. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Grad school was great while it lasted. Full on panic mode. Then I was like, B, it's going to be okay. There are 26 people in the class. Just go to the lecture. Your name will fade away into the other names and just act like nothing happened. So I get back on time for the class that started. And the devil was like, Jesus is on vacation, bitch. I got the will today. I was the only person that showed up to the lecture. I was dead silent. It was the most awkward 5 minutes of my life as he then goes on to say the second most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
I see many didn't show up today, and that is fine. These sessions are automatically recorded and uploaded.
Oh no.
To the school's website for everyone to see.
And thus OnlyFans begins.
It not only goes on the lecture for this class, but all future classes.
Oh my god.
For newer freshmen. Or newer grad students.
So they're all gonna see.
Read it again. It auto records when he logs in. So the minute the professor logs in, it starts recording.
Yeah. So I got everything.
So he, as in the man who made sure to tell me my camera was on, my titty is officially a part of the lesson and the university website for good. No one has contacted me about my Janet Jackson's nip slip, and I have yet to bring it up. It's just a giant titty-shaped elephant in the room.
I that's like one of my worst fears come true. To be honest, because not having like a titty hanging out or something like that. but I would say like every single time that I'm not every time.
Every time that you're on your,
Yeah.
every time I'm on my video cam, I'm just afraid that they're gonna see it for
Yeah,
free.
they're just gonna pop out, like no, every like I'd say like 60% of the meetings that I'm in, I'm usually pooping. Like we're at work and I'm so afraid of like accidentally like hitting because I'll leave my phone on the ground in between my feet. And like I'm so afraid of accidentally hitting the camera button and like or like the
my
video button and like them seeing me like looking down on
my
it.
question to both you and the girl is why being on these meetings? What for her? Why be an hour early? And for you, why be on the toilet during your meetings?
You should try. It's like really relaxing, to be honest.
I'm gonna schedule a Zoom meeting for me and you next time, okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna accidentally hit the
So, do you think that she should feel embarrassed?
Well, yeah, it's hard to not feel embarrassed about it, but like I feel like that should at least be able to get a result. Well, I mean, I don't know. There's got to be some way to edit that to like the professor probably just kept it for himself though.
All right. So OP said I emailed tech support, my advisor, and the dean of students immediately after class. So she emailed them immediately after the class, after the live thing.
Okay.
So that means if it's
okay.
so after the class, she immediately emailed people to like take it off or tell them about the situation.
Yeah.
But that also means that it automatically uploads, so people saw it if they logged into class.
Yeah, but man, if it were an hour before though, before the class had started, right?
Yeah.
Was it during that time? So hopefully nobody else actually saw the video before they were able to take it down.
That's true. Well, we don't know if they took it down yet.
Oh, no.
She emailed them to take it down or tell them about the situation. So update. The head of student affairs called me about the incident and assured me the video was taken down and administration edited the video and worked with my professor. So the professor immediately let people know too. So it wasn't just her end. I can continue grad school without my boobs starting my OnlyFans Academia edition profile. So it was good. Do you think people saw it? That like even like one or two people?
Once it's uploaded and it's on the internet, there's no going back. That's how I feel. Like even if they like took it down, I'm sure somebody found it right away, took like a short recording of that happening, and then it's probably still on the internet. We could probably find it.
We hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. The format's going to be basically where we read Reddit stories, then we tell our embarrassing stories.
Yeah, and what we want to do is get to the point where you guys can send us your painful experiences as well, like to make us laugh, because that's the whole point of this. We want to make us and you guys laugh.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and all that stuff.